Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Club Live here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We are live on YouTube and on X tonight, but get yourself over to the YouTube channel, get subscribed to this channel and get yourself involved in the live chat as we wrap up pretty much the whole international break. And it's been eventful to say the least, for all the wrong reasons. I am Scott Carney, and joining me tonight, first of all, is Ali Pearson. Ali, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Rangers are back tomorrow. I'll be honest, I know we'll get into it, but I didn't think we'd be sitting here talking about Stevie Smith taking the Rangers team tomorrow. But here we are, it's Rangers, so yeah, what more can you say about it? But I'm sure we'll discuss it in this hour's show.
Yes, and Ross McLean, how are you, Ross?
All good, thank you, mate. All good. Yes, we are. We are back. The football is back. It's been an eventful few weeks, but hey, listen, there's things to chat about, and we've only got an hour, so let's get straight into it.
Yeah, we do only have an hour to squeeze as much as this into it, and it will be very much Alistair and yourself, mate, having the chat, your opinions, basically, since I did a pod on Tuesday to kind of give myself a kind of self-counselling session where I was kind of talking at people with getting it back as well and try to clear my brain about the kind of fiasco that's been the last couple of weeks, but there's plenty to get into and we will. But just before that, just a quick word from our sponsors. This episode is proudly sponsored by Lux Lift Events, where they elevate your occasion, whether it's a wedding, birthday, baby shower or seasonal celebration like Halloween or Christmas, both of which are coming up very soon. Lux Lift Events brings the magic, from stunning artificial flower arrangements, luxury balloon displays to candy stands, selfie stations and even soft play setups for the little ones. They've got everything to transform your event into something unforgettable. If you want your celebration you want your next celebration even to be stylish, fun, and picture perfect, let Lux Lift Events do the lifting. You can find them on social media, and the link to their Instagram is in the description for this podcast. Just get in touch with them there, because with Lux Lift Events, it's time to elevate your occasion. We'll swiftly move from that occasion into the occasion that the new owners have decided to put us through over the last couple of weeks. It has been an episode and a half. Ali, we'll go back, because I don't think you've been on really since, you haven't, have you, since last Saturday when the news broke that it would not be Stevie and Gerard returning. Me and Ross very much nailed our colours to the wall last Friday's podcast, which feels like a lifetime ago. That's how long this week has felt with what's been going on at Rangers. But we very publicly and over the top nailed our colours to the wall, our Gerard colours to the wall, that came back and slapped us in the face. But yes, Gerard not being the next Rangers manager, mate. What was your initial take on that when you heard the news? Hello, chat, by the way. Sorry, I forgot about chat. Hello, chat. I'm really sorry. I was like, there's comments coming in. See, I'm on the ball tonight. Sorry. Hello, chat. Good to see you all.
Yeah, no, I seen Ross had his Gerard England top ready for the Friday night show in terms of Gerard being announced potentially. But I mean, I was lying on the couch on Saturday, Carney, enjoying my Saturday night watching the telly, a couple of glasses of wine, no Rangers, which was good as well. And I thought, well, that's good. Rangers can't ruin my weekend because they ain't playing. And then all of a sudden, the phone lights up, and he's the same as everyone else's phones in terms of Gerard was, he said no to Rangers, basically. So I was shocked, like most Rangers fans. I think we all thought, as fans, and why you guys talked about it in the Friday night show on Club Live, that he was pretty much in the door. We all thought it was just, when is he going to get announced? And I'll be honest, Karen, it's been an absolute shit show from the owners of the club. Patrick Stewart, Thelwell, you can go through it all. And obviously you'll get on to the other managers as well. But the Gerard, I honestly think they thought they had that over the line, Carney. And it'll be interesting in months and maybe years to come, the reason why he didn't come. There's obviously certain rumours, tax implications, other rumours in terms of would he want to work under the current structure at Ibrox.
Just quickly, do you believe tax implications? Is that no. Like, I don't believe that.
Stephen, he's a very rich man, Stephen Gerrard. But I mean, there would have been tax implications. But
Aye.
For the reason that came out in terms of, and I know we talked in our group chat that night on Saturday that it isn't the right timing. Why would you come all the way from United Arab Emirates to meet the Rangers in London if the timing wasn't right? You wouldn't, and it went far down the line. So, and I would also say, Carney, that I would assume they've spoken to Gerard even when Russell Martin was in the job. He would have liked to think they were looking for a successor the past 4 or 5 weeks when Russell Martin's been in the job, because we all knew what was coming. I'd like to think they knew it was coming. Yeah. So for that reason, in terms of it, it's not the right time, and I don't buy that. And obviously we don't know because we weren't in the meetings. We don't know exactly, but it doesn't look good, Carney. It looks like he was the guy. And you look at the Rio Ferdinand podcast, etc. We talked about it as well. Gerard, the noises he was making was towards a club like Rangers, if you want to say, and trying to knock it back. I would love to ask Steven Gerrard why. Maybe it is a structure, still well above him, etc. But I mean, he's worked under a kind of director of football before. I know he was more of a manager last time, but yeah, it was a kick in the stones, Carney, on Saturday night. It really was, because then you're looking at going, well, where do we go then? Danny Rowe obviously was the next one in the frame who'd been interviewed apparently too, and we've took the piss out of him as well. I don't know where you will go into it, and thanks very much, Graham, for the super sticker, much appreciated.
Cheers, Graham.
But Danny Rowe, fair play to Danny Rowe, by the way, for telling us to fuck off, basically. And that's the truth, because we basically went to Gerard, all the eggs in his basket, basically. We've kept Danny Rowe, we've interviewed him, and then when Gerard said no, we've kind of said to Danny Rowe, right, well, you just wait in the wings while we go and talk to other people, because we're not quite sure about you now. And well done for him to come out and telling us to piss off, basically. And then you're scrambling about, and Muscat's appeared again. I think this is 3 times we've maybe tried to get Muscat, who's appeared in managerial races. So I think it's not for shambles, Carney. And since, I know I'm rambling here, Carney, but since these new owners come in, and we all sat here last season going, 49ers Enterprises, they run businesses well. These are proper guys coming in, they run leads, etc. Since they've come into Rangers, they have been an utter shambles. They actually make our old board look decent, to be honest, in terms of running the club. I know they've brought in finances and stuff, but we look mediocre as a football club at the moment, Carney. The way our business has been dealt in the public as well. And it is a shit show. And I feel sorry for Stevie Smith, who's taking the team tomorrow. I thought his interview was a breath of fresh air tonight on Rangers TV. I thought he spoke very well. And if we drop points tomorrow, Stephen Smith's not getting the blame for anything tomorrow.
No.
I just think it's poor that we've had 2 weeks of an international break and we don't have a manager. And you'll discuss the guy potentially coming in. But overall, Carney, shit show is probably the polite way of saying it.
The polite way of putting it.
I could say a lot more words in here, Carney, but I'd probably take it off the lot. But, yeah, that's my initial reaction. Sorry for sort of rambling on a wee bit there, but I know I've not been on for a wee while.
No, it's fine, mate. You've covered every topic we were going to do tonight, as you tend to do.
That's we'll just close the show.
We can go home now. Yeah, we can. We'll dig a little deeper into all of it. Ross, obviously,
Dixon.
Dixie.
Oh, God, Dixie. He must be on the baby tonight. He's giving us $9.99.
I know. Thank you very much, Dixie, mate. Good to see you're still tuning in to watch us, mate. So, thank you, Dixie. Yeah, Ross. Obviously, the Gerard situation couldn't have went any worse for the owners. I mean, it is the worst possible outcome for them. The reasons we'll never know. the vacuum that's been left has been filled with all sorts of various WhatsApp rumours, and the fact that Gerard didn't want to work with Thelwell, the fact that tax implications, the fact that this, the fact that no one really is ever going to know for sure, and you kind of left to make your own kind of mind up. Some reports saying that they're leaving the door open for future discussions, which I think stinks. I think it's a horrible thing to leave a decision to leave a conclusion of interviews to say, oh no, maybe further down the line, and for that to be public. So again, I don't know how much truth is actually in that either. But yeah, I'm not a massive fan of anything like that. But Ross, for the new board, for the new owners, sorry, it hasn't been a great start to their Rangers tenure. There's absolutely no doubt. The hype that was surrounding this during the summer has very much deflated at a rapid rate, not helped by them taking too long to sack Russell Martin, which again did them no favours at all. But to not get Gerard after the hype that surrounded it at the 11th hour, for Gerard to turn around and say no, and for us to be in the situation we are in now, right this Friday evening before we go into a game, if they could have dreamt it up going worse, I don't think they would have managed to get to this level of affairs.
No, not at all. I'll make it quite clear. I am never wearing an England shirt again. Genuinely, I was absolutely buzzing.
Look, I know, but on that, Ross, as well, we took pelters, right? We were having some light-hearted fun, everybody, and all of a sudden I was getting called like anti-Scottish and this and that, and I'm like, see, the ability for people to take a light-hearted joke nowadays has completely just disappeared. Honestly, some of the stuff was just ludicrously bad. It was a joke, everybody. Calm down.
It was a gift from family, and I will keep it in that cupboard until the ruler comes back again.
Until Gerard comes back.
Exactly. Genuinely, I'll bring it out again one day. But I'll be honest, on the Gerard situation. Genuinely, that level of deflation, I didn't think I'd feel around it. I was genuinely gutted, and that's not just because the hype, even just on Friday's pod by itself, but just when you think about it, you get that buzz, Gerard, he's coming back, and then just for all of a sudden to go to absolutely squander away, it's the most Rangers thing ever, isn't it? But you're right. I mean, looking right back, even if you look at the start of the 49ers, and I know it's still, they're still getting their feet under the door in a way. They're just in. But, Russell Martin's 7 interviews, going back to how long it takes us to appoint a manager, even just now, there's been so many, appointing family, there's been so many occasions with the new takeover that's left us scratching our heads. And, that we can't think anything else just now because we're not being provided with any real hope, etc. Like, I think, yes, I'm glad that they're maybe not settling for a manager. They've made it clear that, yes, they're doing a thorough process, but they're not just bringing a guy in for the sake of it, just to have them in the dugout on Saturday. So, for that side of things, I'm fine with that. But the situation, man, we should not be in, especially when you've got an international break. It's your perfect opportunity to get somebody in the door. It's literally, it couldn't have came at a better time. There's very, very little else I can add to it, mate. It's an absolute struggle to comprehend what's going on just now. But the only way is up, and that means namely England tops, only Rangers tops for now. It's
the only way up. It's the only way up. I can see Rangers making this worse. I really can.
That's the thing. Well, it might be. I've seen some of the comments, and I might need to get a wee Australia top in the old wardrobe. But we'll get to that later on. But yes, mate, just a week of just absolute disaster. I was on holiday last week. I was away. I was in Italy with the family last week. Keep my eye out at the airport. Who's there? Is there Steven Gerrard kicking? Nothing. So lads, I apologise. My scouting journey was far from successful. But I shall leave that to the board.
Yeah. Mate, you may as well leave it to Jack and Victor, mate, to be honest, right now. Obviously there's reports have said that the board were willing to do anything to get Gerard. There's reports saying that the board were very much stuck to this structure, so we're never really going to know, and it is the vacuum. No matter what, when we do hear from the new owners, whenever the appointment is made of the new head coach or manager, it's going to be interesting to hear what they have to say. It really is going to be interesting. And another thing that I find kind of beats over the head of Stuart and Thelwell is just the zero communication about anything that's happening right now. Just constantly getting done through media channels and nothing actually coming out from the horse's mouth. I'm not expecting a day-by-day, run-by-run, play-by-play kind of update, if you like a match update, for example, but I would have expected them to come out and have said something instead of a single tweet that came out and said, by the way, Stevie Smith's going to be in the dugout for the game against Dundee United, and that was it. So yeah, it's poor. It's poor. The whole look around the club right now is bad. This as a situation has been handled disastrously bad. I mean, disastrously bad. And Ali, it was compounded with Roll turning around and going, "No, you're all right. I've kind of hung about long enough now." And as soon as I read that, I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Whether Rose decided to do it publicly to make it look like that he's not been rejected from this job, it's kind of irrelevant. It really is irrelevant, because we should already have made the announcement before it got to the point where Rose was turning around and saying, I withdrew from that. Whether he was trying to save face after it, saying, "Oh, I withdrew from that because he didn't get the job." It's just it's a calamity after a calamity just now, and I am sorry for the negativity, and there is slight positive chat coming, but the look for the new owners just now is just it couldn't get worse, surely.
And these are two managers that they're not even with a club either. They're out of contract, if you want to say. They don't have any work at the moment. Danny Rowe left Sheffield Wednesday, obviously, in the summer. I know they've been a bit of a shit show, Sheffield Wednesday, but and he's like I say earlier, I don't blame Danny Rowe for. I think the problem is Gerard was such a high profile appointment. If they got him over the line in terms of probably getting the support back inside to a point, because I thought, as we said, he would galvanise the support.
Yeah.
If we were going into Saturday's game with Gerard in the dugout, it'd be a full house, and I think everyone would be right bang up for it. When that fell through, and obviously Danny Rowe, we knew was interviewed too. Whoever it was, Danny Rowe or somebody else, it was always going to deflate the support. And the problem with Danny Rowe is they looked at Danny Rowe, 36 years of age. A lot of Rangers fans have just looked and thought, he came for the EPL, similar to Russell Martin. He isn't really similar to Russell Martin, the way he plays football, etc. He's not, but a lot of fans have just looked at him, the age. He's not really had much experience. I know he's been assistant manager at Bayern Munich, the Germany national team, etc. And Sheffield Wednesday was his first real job, but the board have probably maybe looked at that, and whether they've pandered to the support, I don't know, can they? But they've maybe looked at the reaction to Danny Rowe and went, Christ, if we bring him in, he's up against it. And I think anyone was really going to be up against it unless they appointed somebody like, dare I say it, we're going to come on to him, a Muscat potentially, maybe a Derek McInnes that I've said. But Danny Rowe, I don't think would have floated a lot of Rangers fans' boat, if you want to say. We don't know. He may have been successful with Rangers, or we just don't know. But Rangers, is it too big a job for him to go there? Danny Rowe, like I say, we'll never know. But I don't blame Danny Rowe for turning around to Rangers and say, I'm pulling out, because he was really standing in the corridor, if you want to say, while we were dancing about trying to find other managers, can't they? So I kind of feel sorry for Danny Rowe. I'd be interested to see how he goes on the next few years in his managerial career, Danny Rowe, but he's highly thought of. The Sheffield Wednesday fans, you look at them, I've got a couple doing my work as well, say high things about him, really high things about him. He was dealt a bad card at Sheffield Wednesday, and you flip it when Russell Martin was coming to us, Southampton fans, etc., were saying, Christ, he's not that great. So it was the two of them are quite different. But I don't blame Danny Rowe for telling us to go, basically. But it just doesn't look good for us, Carney. But it's scattergun approach for me again with Rangers. Russell Martin done it at the tail end of his career with Rangers, flinging players on the park, and the board looked like they were doing it in terms of appointing a manager here, Carney. Because you'll probably come on to Muscat, but Muscat's been touted now 3 times, I think.
Yeah.
This is his 3rd time, probably. He got to the final 2 under Clement, obviously, and Clement got a job, but was he always on their radar, Muscat? I mean, he wasn't on the radar in the summer, so why all of a sudden is he in the radar now? So I really don't know, Carney, but like I say, it's an absolute shit show and a circus. And I don't blame opposition fans laughing at us from the outside.
No, I've got nothing against that. I said that on Tuesday night when I done the pod myself. I've got nothing against that because I'd be laughing if it was the other way around. Absolutely, I would be. So I've got nothing against that. Generally, I don't. It's fine. It's fair play. It's fair shooting. It really is. You get the obligatory moron come on and say something ridiculous. Of course you do. But I mean, that was fair game, man. Like, honestly, it's absolutely fair game. And as soon as not as soon as I heard it, but I think it was Sunday morning, I thought, God, that pod on Friday night was just a celebration of Steven Gerrard, and he's not coming anymore. I was like, oh well, you live by your decisions that you make, I suppose. So again, I can't really disagree with anything you said. I think the optics of even Gerrard, be it the board's fault or the owner's fault or not, and Rowe, be it the owner's fault or not, it looks absolutely terrible. It really does. And you do start to worry about it tarnishing the club's reputation in terms of what if we are looking for a new manager in a year? What if, who's going to want this? Obviously, I hope to goodness that we are not looking for another manager for at least 3 years. Give us a break of this, please. Let's get somebody that might actually do the job, because I can't be bothered going round and round this again. But again, it is what they're doing, the way they're handling it, the way it's happened, everything about it. I am hoping more than anything else, because I've not heard from the owners, I hope this is a massive, massive learning curve for them, and they realise that Glasgow Rangers isn't particularly the same as Leeds United. And I'm not disrespecting Leeds United, I'm just meaning they are separate entities. This is a different game up here, it's a different club. Leeds are a big club, but it's different. It's just everything about it is completely different, and everything is so unbelievably public. It is everywhere. The fact that the manager or the head coach gets press conference, there's about 16 a week or something of the press conference, there's obviously far too many of that, in my opinion. But yeah, I just hope that they really have learned lessons from just how poorly this has been handled, and they quickly improve things. I say, I am interested to hear what their statement is going to be whenever the announcement is made. On to what that announcement may be, Ross. Obviously, with Rowe pulling out, there is only one front runner, according to all reports. And again, not putting my neck out and saying anything that I know anything, because I don't. According to all reports, it is very much done with Muscat. There was obviously rumour started at the kind of midweek stage that Neil McCann might be in the dugout, and it looks like Neil McCann would be coming in to be part of his backroom team should this deal finally go through. Before we come to when Muscat might be arriving, we'll have our say on that. What is your take on the team of Kevin Muscat and Neil McCann joining forces, should that be the decision that goes through, and that's who becomes the next two, at least, in the dugout?
Yeah, I think it is probably the one that we go for. I think we need to, well, as we mentioned last week, we need to remember who is actually available just now, because they shouldn't be available in October. So the fact that Muscat, obviously, he's coming to the end of his season, just now looking to win the league overseas, it does open the door for him. Ali makes a belt of a point. He's been in this race quite a few times. We obviously see from the outside and go, right, his name's been caught a few times. How does he perceive this? Does he genuinely think, Rangers see me as a second choice, a third choice? I hope that the guy, if he does come in, that he feels welcome at the end of the day, because he's been kind of treated as a second option in a way. But he's, for me, mate, he's won things, and he's won things all over. You look at, he's won Australia, Japan, China. he's a winner, and that's what we're looking for. Is he my ideal candidate? Is he my number one? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think as soon as I heard Gerard was out the equation, my mind instantly went to Derek McInnes, I'll be honest. And I didn't think it was going to go that way. I genuinely didn't think I was going to be on the Derek McInnes bandwagon, but it was kind of the direction I was heading off to. But looking at it, high intensity football, he's won trophies, as I say. It sounds not bad on paper, but Clement sounded not bad on paper. And that's it's with this situation we're in. What I gamble with anybody really, lads. That's ultimately the sad thing. There's no set guy who's like, oh yeah, he'll come in. He's the Pep Guardiola who's gonna come and turn us around. So out of all the people there, Muscat sounds like, I'm not gonna say he sounds like the definite one coming in because again, last week's shenanigans I won't repeat again, but it looks like that's who's the front runner, and if it is, we'll welcome him, and we'll welcome him like we maybe could have done a year ago or 2 years ago. Which again, this is the situation we're in. But yes, hopefully he can get his title over the line and provide some more up here.
Yeah, guys, 1872, thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. Very much appreciated, mate. Thank you for your support of the channel. Ali, we know Muscat, but I don't think Ross will remember Muscat. You don't know Ross, you remember Muscat. No, so we
No.
Honestly, it's ridiculous, isn't it? We remember Muscat, mate. As a player, was a bit of a nutter. he was a bit unhinged at times. One thing's for sure with Muscat, right? And I'll put my cards on the table. Once Gerard was off the table, I immediately went, I'd throw whatever Hearts want at them to get McInnes. I generally would have went there and meant, what do you want for him? He would have been my second choice for that. And then Muscat starts to appear, and you remember, oh, hang on, we had the discussion about him before, had discussion about him previously. The discussion already, thinking about bringing in Neil McCann. Neil McCann's a guy I quite like. I think he's a pretty decent coach. I've nothing against Neil McCann at all. He was a great player for us. Obviously, being a manager, being part of the coaching staff is slightly different. But with Muscat, I started to think, well, maybe. I for one don't think he'll suffer fools very gladly. Again, from the outsider looking in, I don't think he's going to suffer fools very gladly. It is attacking football. I think that's safe to say it's going to be a bit different from what we've seen under Russell Martin. And by a bit different, I mean unrecognisable, genuinely. It is going to take time. But your initial thoughts before we come to the situation regarding him actually coming in, your opinion on the fact that it looks like it is going to be Muscat that will be announced within the next kind of 24 or 48 hours, and obviously the stipulations around it. But what's your thoughts about him being the man in charge?
Yeah, he's won titles over in kind of Asia. Similarities to Postecoglou, if you want to say. Yeah, Ross is too young for Muscat as a player. He was a no-nonsense defender, if you want to say. Few dirty challenges. I always think of you'll see the clip, Ross, if you go on YouTube. If you like Neil Warnock, if you've seen his clips on YouTube, there's one of him going on the pitch after they beat, is it Millwall or something, I think? And he kept telling the players, he's going, that's for Muscat, because I think Muscat headbutted Paddy Kenny or something in the tunnel at half time or something. Stuart McCall was there as well. But if you go into YouTube, you'll see it, Ross. It's quite funny. But Muscat, we've talked about him umpteen times over the last couple of years, Carney. So he's not a new guy to discuss. We know how he plays. Very attacking football. I mean, you look at the score today. I think they won 4-3, I think it was. So his team ship goals. So you'll enjoy this Rangers team because we ship a lot of stupid goals. The only thing is he plays attacking football and scores a lot of goals in his teams. This is something we can't do as a team at the moment. But I do think we have the players that can play his style of football. I think we've got a bunch of players that would suit a Kevin Muscat philosophy, if you want to say. I agree, Karen. I think it'd be different to watch. I think his, similar to Postecoglou, is, well, if they score 3, we'll score 4. I think that's kind of how it's going to be about a basketball at times. Maybe entertaining to watch because it will be gun-ho, if you want to say. But he ticks boxes, can't he? I think he'll galvanise the support as well, Kevin Muscat. I think a lot of fans will get behind him. There's a lot of fans that wanted him when Clermont got the job. It was very 50-50, maybe 60-40 in terms of Muscat back then. I know Nicky, when he was on the podcast, I know he fancied Kevin Muscat. So, yeah, out of what's there, Carney, Derek McInnes was the one for me. I would have went, I agree with you, I would have went across the M8 and said to Hearts, reportedly 500 grand, let's talk to him. I would have done that. They haven't. Well, we don't know, but it looks like they haven't went and talked to Derek McInnes. So they've went to Muscat. So, yeah, the only downside, and I'd assume you'll come and talk about it, is when does he come in?
Yeah, well, we'll go to that, mate. Obviously, the reports now are that should he be announced, he's going to make the decision to stay and try and win the league with his current team, who are sitting top of the league in China. He has the chance to win the league there. And it could go on as long as November 22nd. A little bit of me in my head, because it's delayed so long. I know they were playing this morning. Is that right? They played this morning. Is that correct? Well, it'd have been, I don't know. They played a game today, which they won 4-3. Strap yourself in, everybody. But the reason it might be taking so long is maybe the negotiations with the club to say, well, if you win the league, literally the day after you win the league, he's gone and he's coming here, which is again, I'm probably given a wee bit of leeway there to the owners regarding the kind of probably quite complicated situation. Now, Ali, on the pod that I did on Tuesday, I said if I was Muscat and he wanted this job as much as he wants the job, because I think he does. I think he wants to make this transition. He wants to make this move. He wants to challenge himself at a next level, and it is a next level, no matter what. It is coming to Rangers is very much different than managing in China. I said it should come now. I said it should come immediately. I said there should be no delay, and no disrespect to the Chinese league. With a few days past, speaking with people and actually speaking with Celtic fans, I've maybe went back a little bit on it, and I could maybe look at it and understand maybe why he's doing it. I suppose I can't criticise loyalty. I can't criticise his ambition to want to get another league title behind his name. I can't criticise that. Also, as we spoke about, as Ross brought up, he's not exactly their first choice. So he's going, well, if there's nobody left and you're giving it to me, maybe he holds the cards in that regard to a certain extent. Who knows? I say who knows. But it's less than ideal. It is less than ideal that if he is appointed and he's not coming immediately, it's not great considering the games that we have coming up. But also it's the knock-on effect from that. What if Stevie Smith's not very good, which will come to, but what if that happens? There's different bits in this that could complicate the matter even further, if that makes sense. But what is your initial take on the fact that he won't, if he is appointed, it looks like he won't be here immediately?
It's not ideal because we've got big games coming up. Selfishly, as a Rangers fan, and thanks very much, William, for the super sticker. Selfishly, as a Rangers fan, you want him in the door now. You'd want him for Dundee United tomorrow. But I get this. I get the both sides of it. I get this is probably 3 attempts we've had to go at him. I get he does want to go back to Europe to see if he can kind of prove himself in Europe now. He's kind of done it in Asia, but he's shown a bit of loyalty to the club he's at in China. Obviously, he's got a chance to win another title over there, which he can put in his CV. So yeah, it's difficult because ideally I want him in now as a Rangers fan. You look at the games we've got coming up. Tomorrow's a massive game for us, Carney. See if for me, there's a lot of fans out there to say there's still 30, 31 games left, whatever it is. I personally, and I've said it to you, and I know you're slightly different, I think the league's done. As poor as Celtic are this season, I don't see them dropping because they've won most of their games this season, Celtic, even playing poor. So I don't see them dropping 9 points. And we forget to talk about Hearts as well. So I don't see, for me, the league's pretty much done. But if Rangers drop tomorrow, Carney, the league is completely done. That's it, game over. And we're struggling to finish. For Christ, Hearts could break the two of us quite easily this season. They won't do in Aberdeen. I know a lot of folks say they'll fall off a cliff like Aberdeen did last season. I don't think they will. I expect them to drop points, but they won't do what Aberdeen did last season. So yeah, and you look at, I think we're away to Hibs coming up soon as well, the semi-final, which is massive. So
Europe.
you could be looking at Europe. That's how I would come on. You could be looking at it by the time he takes charge. And this was looking at it very negatively, and I know folk tune in for us being negative, but before he takes the reins, we could be the league completely done, out of League Cup and out of Europe. And all we've got to play for is the Scottish Cup, which doesn't kick off until January, I think, when we're in it. So that's where you look at it selfishly as a Rangers fan. It might not happen. Stevie Smith might win tomorrow. I expect to get a bounce tomorrow, Carney. I really do. And then you look after tomorrow. What did the board come out and say? I know it's been rumoured Neil McCann might come in and take the team for the next 4 or 5 games, whatever it is, until Muscat comes in. But I get both sides of it. I'm not going to slaughter Muscat for not coming because he has shown a bit of loyalty. We have dicked him about over the last couple of years as well. But selfishly, as a Rangers fan, I want him in ASAP because these players need a serious kick up the arse. And the games coming up are too big in terms of where we are at the moment, Carney, because, as I said, the time he comes in, this season could be done and dusted. And it's just a Scottish Cup to play for.
Yeah, Ross, there's so many hypothetical situations that could occur here with this decision of Muscat not coming in immediately. Again, like as I said, what if Stevie Smith's poor? What if we get a poor run of form? What if we get further behind? What if the league is completely over? It's so unbelievably unique. I can't really think of another time that it's happened. I can't think another time of when a club has been publicly turned down by 2 managers who are not in work as well. I can't really remember that happening either. But if, say, like, it's just so difficult because what if Muscat doesn't win the league out there and when we end up out early, we end up pretty much out the title race completely, like 100% done, out the cup, out of Europe. Like, again, as soon as he arrives, is everybody going to say, oh, it doesn't matter, you're here now, let's go on with it. It's a very complicated situation, and I don't think even though we can understand why possibly why he wants to stay there and the loyalty he's shown his club, I get that, and he wants to get another a league win on his resume. Again, I get that. It's just there is so many risks for that for me because the Rangers fans are not exactly we're not in the best frame of mind with stuff just now, and it could just go so badly wrong. And obviously, I know that sounds negative. I want it to go very positive. I want us to be looking at Stevie Smith by the time Muscat gets here and going, why are we not giving him the job? That's how well I want it to go for Stevie Smith. But this, the delaying of Muscat, it's a massive risk on both parties, I think.
There's a lot of important football to play. A lot of important football. None more so for me than this semi-final against Celtic, to be fair. That's the one that sticks out for me like a sore thumb. And I was like, right, will he come in before then? He won't. I believe his first game, if he was to come in, would be Braga at home, would be Muscat's first game. So welcome, Kevin. There was a bit of a cauldron there. But then at the same time, will it be a cauldron? Because as you say, we could be completely packed out of Europe. It's such a strange one. I do completely understand him wanting to win a trophy because ultimately, looking at it in the human aspect of things, how many times in your life are you going to win a trophy? Like that's, there's only so many times you'll look at it and go, right, I can win this year and put myself down the club books. So I understand that. I completely get that. It's just, as you say, I need to look at it. I'm a Rangers fan. I need to look at it from this side of things, and there's just so much just unsecurity just now that I'm not quite a fan of. Obviously, I'm sure we'll go on to Stevie Smith. I think we're in good hands for just now, in terms of, I'll say the usual lines, Rangers man gets the club, etc. But it's just for the situation we're in, for the not just the importance of the games as well, the amount of games we have to play, there's a good few fixtures in between now and that 22nd of November. And everything could come crumbling down. At the same time, if things go well, I'm genuinely, lads, I'm not putting the league off yet. I'm not putting the league off yet because, with all due respect to Hearts, I think their history tells you their time will potentially come. I don't want to be too naive, but it seems to be the way of it. I don't think the other side of the city are great. I think that, yes, we are not very good. I'll admit that, but
No.
there's more opportunity now than there is ever. But again, the other side of that is that there's no get away from how bad we are. The point I'm trying to make is we have tools there, we have players there. I just think if we got somebody in just now, I'd feel a lot more optimistic than what I do for the whole season going forward, because genuinely now until probably, to be fair, up to that kind of November point is season defining. Literally, you drop any more points in the league, you get put out of a cup. The other cup's not guaranteed, far from it. If we're playing the way we are, you could be looking at absolutely hee-haw. So this period just now is where you need somebody in the door. The fact that we're not getting that until potentially a month's time is slightly terrifying, to be honest with you. And I hope that Kevin's listening and we've persuaded him over. He's on his way. Glasgow Airport. My scouting duties. I'll need to get my suit back on, and he'll be here. He'll be here very shortly.
Wear your England t-shirt, mate, and you'll know if he's wear your England shirt. If he's there, he'll come up and fly kick you in the head, probably.
Exactly.
So yeah, like as I say, it can go one way, it can't go the other. I don't see it really going right down the middle. Ali was spot on what he said earlier, the fact that Rangers have to win tomorrow. There is nothing other than a win that's going to do anybody any good. And yeah, it's just so uncertain. It really is. The whole situation around it is just extremely uncertain. And I would hate, look, ultimately, if he was to come in right now, you'd be looking at the league campaign, and realistically, it's an outside chance for us to get back into some form of title race. But I still think there is like an outside chance there. There is cliche coming. There's still a lot of football to be played this season, absolutely. Do I think he loses that kind of grace period if everything goes completely wrong and he doesn't win in China, and then he comes back, he comes over here and goes, sorry about that, sorry I'm late, everybody, did you win a league? No, we didn't win a league. All right, so that was all for nothing. That was for absolutely nothing. Do you know what I mean? And you know what social media will be like. You don't need me to tell you. You know exactly what it will be like. It's all Muscat's fault and the guy's not even here. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm kind of baffled about what the setup would be if they're just going to remain Stevie Smith and it's up to him to shape the team the way he wants it for like these 5 weeks it is, for these 5 weeks, and then for Muscat to come in, not only rip up what Martin's done, but rip up what Stevie Smith's done and then start again. It's all a bit clumsy. It's all a bit messy. I mean, clumsy is the word, I suppose, right now of these last couple of weeks. It is extremely clumsy. But look, time will tell when the announcement comes out and we get full details after it. We'll get full details. Hopefully we get an announcement soon. Hopefully we get an announcement very soon. Ali, Stevie Smith spoke to the media today. Obviously he's coming in. He was the under-19s coach and he's been promoted just now as interim manager of the interim head coach of the Rangers first team. Guy's a blue nose, mate. He's kind of living the dream, I suppose. It's going to be a massive day for him. The way he spoke to the media, I thought he handled himself honourably, very, very well. Everything that he was flung at him, I thought he was great. I thought he was realistic about things. I thought he was positive about things. I thought he was, without reading between the lines and putting words in the guy's mouth, I think he pretty much said, well, what they were doing under Martin, we're not going to be doing that anymore. In fact, the way that he's went back to basics a touch, but also gave them new additions, but said the right things about not overloading the players, etc. No matter what happens tomorrow, Ali, none of it will, as you mentioned, will be on Stevie Smith. Absolutely none of it. You will not be getting me beating the guy over the head with no matter what the result is. If these players have got anything about them and they want to be part of Rangers' future tomorrow, it's up to them tomorrow. It really is. I made the point of we've got enough experienced guys within our squad. Suter, Tavernier, Jack Butland, players with proper experience, international players as well, to be able to go, right, lads, I'm not saying they're doing it themselves, but take on what the manager's saying, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it. They should be able to put up at least a fight and compete with Dundee United at Ibrox. I don't think that's too much to ask for. I genuinely don't. I think that's realistic. But these players, it's as much on them, it's more on them tomorrow even than it is on Stevie Smith. Would you agree?
Yeah, of course it is. They'll be unleashed, if you want to say, Carney. Stevie Smith said, as you basically said there, and I thought he talked very well in his interview today. He said, "I'm not going to overload them with information," which I found interesting in terms of what Russell Martin. And as you said, he's going to strip it back to basics, which we've said pretty much for day one when Russell Martin was removed. We need a guy to come in and go back to basics. So he says potentially a few changes. There's
a question for you, Ali, as well, just talking about changes. Given that the two strikers have been on international duty, do you think Danilo will start?
Would you think? There's more chance of bloody Scotia starting tomorrow.
Yeah,
and he's working. Danilo, Christ, don't get me starting Danilo. But no, these players, and you can't miss these players, can he? Although Russell Martin has, I think, overloaded them with a lot of information in the way he wants to play, I think they've been kind of shackled to a point, these players, in a lot of games. They look confused. A lot of the time they look better when the shit hit the fan, Carney, when we were losing games and he was throwing paint against a wall and they were kind of unleashed at a point. They look better. So, yeah, in terms of tomorrow, these players have got to show something, because if they don't, well, there's a new manager. If it is Kevin Muscat, who we all think it is, we'll be watching that game tomorrow. We'll be watching these players. Do they want to be in his team going forward? They've got a chance to show it tomorrow. A lot of these players that have done absolutely nothing. There's not many pass marks in that Rangers team this season. Probably apart from Jack Butland, if you want to say, and Gassama on the left. That's probably the only two pass marks you're given. The rest of them, I think, have been extremely poor. So they've got a big chance playing Dundee United. Dundee United are going well this season, but no disrespect to Dundee United, but Rangers at Ibrox should be beating Dundee United convincingly. And we play Kilmarnock, I think it's the following week as well, at Ibrox as well. Again, we should be beating them at Ibrox. So, yeah, it's up to these players. Stevie Smith will say to them, go and show what you've got. Show the new manager what you're about, and see if they've got a future. A lot of these, well, they will, because they're on big contracts, these players, but they need to show something, Carney. And it'll be really interesting tomorrow in terms of how they play. I really expect a reaction from them tomorrow. I really do. I know it's a cliche thing in terms of, I know it's not a new manager, but the new manager bounce. But Russell Martin's away now. I think you'll see something from these players tomorrow, Carney. And then you'll be looking at each other going, where's this been? So I expect something for these players tomorrow, Carney. I really do.
Yeah, Ross, obviously, John Shooter spoke to the media as well today, and he said a unique playing style for Russell Martin. I thought unique's certainly a word for it. It absolutely is. But these players have to show determination now. They have to show a willingness to want to actually display to the Ibrox crowd what they can do. I think the turnout tomorrow will be better than maybe a lot anticipated. It'll certainly be better than if Russell Martin was still in the dugout. That is for absolute certain. There's no doubt about that. But people will want to give Stevie Smith the backing. They want to give him support, because none of this is on him. Absolutely none of it is on him. And the way he handled himself, I think I would expect us, and you even said it yourself, I would expect Rangers to look I would expect Rangers to look a lot different tomorrow.
Definitely, it's a massive opportunity for the players at the end of the day, because I think the one argument has been recently that the team's playing bad because of the manager, and yes, it has. The manager's tactics. Clearly, he's came out and said, as you say, need to simplify it, because what they're being told is potentially
nonsense.
Not sensible.
Nonsense, absolute nonsense is what they were getting told, mate. Yes,
correct. Not family friendly at all. So the fact that we're getting a more simplified version of football is music to the ears. But I completely agree with you, boys. These players, you look at the investment over the summer, and even despite that, you look at the players that we've got. You've now got a Belgian established international. You've got an experienced keeper in Jack Butland. You've got a captain who's been here for ages. You've got players here. It's literally over to you, Rangers, as a certain Mr. Pearson would say. It is literally over to these players to go and show us what they've got tomorrow. It was probably a similar situation in terms of previous managers. I doubt Stevie Smith has had a lot of time to work with the players to really implement his philosophy. Obviously, he's had there's been times over the international break he's not had a full squad. You look at like Asgard's been away, Chermiti, Majowski, Rasket, etc. In terms of having the full squad there, it will be far from the finished article. But I agree. Literally, he'll look at it from a fan's perspective because he is, and probably go, right, lads, shackles are off you go. Yeah, I think that Ibrox. That's all you need to say. You're at home in front of your fans. Go and play football. And I never really pictured. If you asked me a few years ago, we'd be seriously week on week contemplating: are we going to win at home against, with all due respect, a Dundee United, etc. That needs to move, and I do think the players can do it in a way by themselves because I do it. He said it himself. There, Stevie Smith had a good group of players, and I do believe that. There was a few folk in the comments, and fair enough. I love getting everyone's opinions in, and folks keep getting your comments in. I know there was a lot of kind of back and forth, but are the players good enough? I genuinely believe there are good gems in there that are. So it's but as I say, tomorrow proof's in the pudding. It might, if we come away with a result tomorrow that's not desirable to be polite about it, then maybe I'll start to question that. But I genuinely think that there's folk in that team who are good enough for Rangers. Go and show us it tomorrow, please. More for my sake. I've been saying it for weeks on weeks. Just please give me something to hang on to. But yes, it's a big day tomorrow. And it shouldn't be at the start of the season. But it is, and here we are.
Yeah, I'll agree that I believe that there is some good players. There's players that can. There's more in this squad than I want each draw with Falkirk. There just is. A squad that gets 2 shots on target against Falkirk. There's more in this squad than that. I'm not saying all the signings that we've made are perfect. There's still questionable ones. Chermiti and then the Fernandez that somebody mentioned in the comments on Tuesday after I'd done the pod as well. I thought, my God, I completely forgot we paid $3.5 million for this guy, and he can't even get on the bench. So, yeah, obviously there's still question marks and still quite. We've not really got time tonight to get into Thelwell and Stewart, that's for sure. But there's definitely more in this team than I want each draw with Falkirk. I'm not going to say they're world beaters, they're not. But I think in terms of what we were seeing under Russell Martin, and honestly, I put about 90% of the blame on Russell Martin for what he was trying to get these players to do and his ideology of football, which has been completely found out now. Let's not beat around the bush. The guy has been completely found out that he is not a very good head coach, nor will he ever be, in my personal opinion. I expect to see more from the players tomorrow, though. I absolutely expect to see more. It's up to them to make the point now to the new manager coming in that they want to be part of this and they want to be part of Rangers going forward. Yes, the usual suspects are going to come in for the criticism. Curry's already mentioned it in the chat about Tavernier getting a pounding tomorrow as soon as he makes a bad pass. Yes, all of that will return. Though it won't be Russell Martin that gets it, it'll be the usual suspects apart from that. But yeah, the likes of... you can name a few. Asgard, I expect to see a lot more from. Ant-Man, I want to see more from. Chermiti, I want to see a hell of a lot more from. These are the kind of guys that need to stand up now and shine and show us what they're all about. I think there was only one bit of injury news, and Diomande won't be available. Sterling's still out. Dill still out. I can't say I'm overly disappointed in that. There was one more. Who else did they say?
Matondo.
How could I forget
Matondo?
How could I forget about Ravi bloody Matondo? So yeah, based on that, Ali, I ain't expecting a radical formation change or anything like that. I think we are very much set up with the players that we have to play a 4-3-3 or an adaptation of 4-3-3. So I expect it to be pretty similar. What team would you go with tomorrow?
I agree. I think you'll go with 4-3-3.
By the way, does anybody know what he plays with the under-19s? Does anybody know that? Somebody in the chat, mate. If somebody in the chat knows what formation he plays, that'd be nice to know right about now. Thanks.
Yeah, that's where you need Scotia. He'd probably know that.
He would know that, I know.
No, I think he'll go 4-3-3. I don't think he'll change it overly much in terms of players, if you want to say. So I think he'll go with Butland, Tav, Suter, Cornelius, Magoma. That's your back five. The three, Raskin will sit. I've got a feeling he might play Rothwell just a bit further forward because I'm interested to see him not under Russell Martin, if you want to say. And let's see if he is the player that we played for Leeds last season. So I think he might come back in. I thought he's been decent when he's come on in cameo appearances for 20 minutes, Rothwell. And he's been there, obviously, for the full of the international break training. So I think you'll play him. Asgard's a funny one. He's really not done it for me, Asgard.
No.
I think Lyle Cameron might come in. I know he's been injured, but I think he was on a bench last time, so I think he might give him a start. And the top three, I think, pretty much picks itself for me. Gassama left, Ant-Man right, and Miovski in the middle. That's for me. And I know, obviously, Chermiti's the £8 million man. Did he not score on international duty as well during the week too? But that is a team I think he'll play, and I'd be quite happy with, to be honest. And I think we'll get a bounce for these players tomorrow. And we're not going to fuck about at the back with the ball either, which gives me a heart attack.
No, I don't think we'll be doing that.
I think we'll be more direct. I think it'll be 3-0 Rangers. Gassama first goal scorer.
I'll take it, mate. I'll absolutely take it. You're starting 11. I can't see much different in it, apart from he might play Raskin, Barron and Cameron. I would quite like to see Cameron, to be honest, because Asgard hasn't impressed me. All depends really what Stevie Smith decides, I suppose. I doubt there'll be any pressure on him in that regard. It'll really be up to him. Front three, shocked you didn't play Chermiti, mate. I think Chermiti might start. Would I rather see him or Miovski? I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing a 4-4-2 to see if that works. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't be completely against that. Say Raskin and another in the middle with Ant-Man and Gassama playing maybe like a 4-2-2-2, if you like, with Chermiti and Miovski up front. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that. But either way, I think the team will be remarkably similar, but I expect the way we play to be remarkably different. I'll also go for a positive day tomorrow. I'll go for 2-0 Rangers, a comfortable 2-0. I think we'll keep a clean sheet. I don't think there'll be any mucking about at the back. I think we'll hopefully look organised as a defence. That would be quite nice. It can't be too difficult to look organised when you've got experience that you do have, at least in 3 year back four anyway. And with obviously Butland behind them, I would expect them to look a bit more composed. So yeah, I'll go 2-0. I'll go Gassama to score first. Ross, your team and your score prediction?
Very interested. I agree with you, Jets. I agree with you. I'm going to go Butland, Tav, Suter, Cornelius, Magoma. I think midfield three, Raskin, Barron. Actually, I agree. That's the one for me. I think I'd bring in Cameron. I've got Asgard written down, but genuinely, I think you're spot on. Lyle Cameron, I think I'd get him right in there. Get him some minutes on the leg. He's another guy who he's probably teetering on the edge of pass marks this season. Obviously, it's tricky to say because he's not played a lot for us, but he's a guy for me. I reckon get him in the squad, get him playing consistently. I think he'll be a good player for us, lads. I really do. Front three, I'm going Gassama. I'm going to go Ant-Man on the right. I'm going to go Miovski up top. I reckon if you're Stevie Smith, you're needing to win. You need to play somebody who can find the back of the net against a Dundee United, which Miovski can do. He's shown it. Chermiti obviously scoring international duty. Absolutely love to see it. Genuinely love to see it. I just think he'll probably look at it at the end of the day, as a fan, Stevie Smith, and go, right, we need our striker to score here. So I'm going to go with Miovski up front. And I'm going to go 3-1 Rangers. In our last three appearances against Dundee United, we've conceded in all three, two of them being at Ibrox. So I think, unfortunately, we've got a bit of a trend there. So I'm going to go 3-1 Rangers. And I'm going to go Lyle Cameron to score. I'm genuinely Leo Cameron is the shout for me. I'd love to see him get in the Rangers team consistently. So yes, that's my team to score for tomorrow.
Yeah, win Rangers, just go and win the game of football. Try and put this dramatic 2 weeks that we've just had out of the system and the pretty absolutely shocking start of the season that we've had. Players, go show something, go show what you're about, and go and get a win against Dundee United at Ibrox. That's not too tough a task, in my personal opinion. The way we were playing under Russell Martin, yes, but Russell Martin's not there anymore, so there isn't really an excuse. So let's be having you. Thank you for tuning in to us tonight. We will be back tomorrow with a reaction, win, lose, or draw for the regime of Stevie Smith starts. That's a bit weird sounding that in, I suppose. But for joining me tonight, Ali, thanks very much.
No problem. Look forward to going to. It's a 3 o'clock on a Saturday as well, which is unusual. I know we had the
Aye, but is it actually though? Are you actually having a 3 o'clock on the Saturday, or are you walking your dog?
No, I am having a couple of pints before the game, and
amazing.
I am
Music
having a couple after. I can't go mental after. I need to be back for my dinner. So, but no, I will be at the Viceroy.
Can you hear a whip cracking? Can you hear a whip? I can hear a whip cracking.
I will be at the Viceroy for noon tomorrow, Carney. Don't worry.
Me too.
I know Scotia can't make it because he's working, unfortunately. So Tommy's taking his ticket, and Tommy is actually coming to the Viceroy as well. So strap yourself in there. But no, looking forward to it tomorrow, and yeah, hopefully there's a post-match, Carney, with me and you talking positively about Rangers.
That would be good, mate. That would be just pucker, wouldn't it? It really would. A normal Saturday, mate, going to Ibrox, it would be great. Ross, thanks very much, mate.
Thank you, mate. I'm looking forward to the football being back. Genuinely, the last week we've had to put up with the Scotland news. I'm sure Scotia has, of course, been buzzing with Scotland getting over the line, but the real football's back. Let's be honest, real football's back. And yes, 3 o'clock is the place to be tomorrow at Ibrox. So thank you as always, mate. It was a very, very good chat this evening.
Yeah, that'll be you getting slandered in the comments now, mate, for saying something like that against Scotland. How dare you? How dare you make a comment against the national team, you Scotland hater. Thank you, everybody in this chat tonight for getting involved. Thank you for the new members and for the donations. Very much appreciated. And yeah, if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Over 8,000 subscribers now, just bonkers for us. So let's see if we can get to 10,000 by the end of the season. That would be some achievement. But it's free to do so. So if you wouldn't mind just subscribing to the channel, that would be great. I really do appreciate it. Again, we'll speak to you tomorrow. Hopefully Rangers get the business done. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and we'll speak to you all tomorrow. Good night, everyone.